Alright, we're looking at the dollar for the week beginning Monday 30th of October. So this is the dollar index. And to the box 1 we have nothing. Okay, by box 2 we've come down here and you'll see in retrospect it went up. But in terms of clean levels, there's nothing really obvious here. Okay, and by the time we had a break of structure back up, we're outside of our second box. And then you'll see that we also didn't have a take to the upside. We had a deep pullback up here. We never took Asian high before it drops off, and this is the move of the day. Okay, so this is a good example again of the sometimes you have to flip it, so you can't use this as your primary indicator. If you see the setup on the individual pair, as long as there's nothing here directly contradicting it, you take the trade. So what do we have at the same time on the Monday? So box 1 we have nothing. Box 2 we've already had an Asian break high. Okay, and if you go back, right, you'll see not only did it take the high, but it's filled this fair value gap in from here to here. It's basically filled it in perfectly. So we've had liquidity take, move into a higher time frame PD array, and so then we just have to wait for the break of structure. Now here's the problem on the 5 minute. So that's your structure there, that wick. It just goes. There's never any pullback, and you get this big move down. On the EJ, more or less the same thing. So nothing in the first box, but the second box we had this clean take of the Asian high. As soon as it wicks above there, 7 o'clock. So it's the same time on both of them. Yeah, so 7 o'clock that closes the fair value gap on the GU. On the EU, it's 7 o'clock with this wick that took Asian high. So those two happening together is a good confluence. Problem again on the M5, it's hard to get a good entry, because where is your break of structure going to be? Okay, so if we go down to a smaller time frame, so this is the 2 minute time frame. Let's do the EU first. 2 minute time frame. That is your 7 o'clock, your liquidity take. Okay, this then becomes your break of structure. So we've got the break of structure exactly at 7:10. Okay, so all you do then, you just put an entry at whatever pullback you want. Okay, so if you use the fib retracement wick to wick, you've got a deep retracement to 75. You could have taken it from 50. You could have taken it from the last up candle. All of them would have worked. So that's on the EU. Then let's have a quick look at the GU. So I'll go on the 2 minute, same time, Monday. Alright, so this is Monday. That's your Asian range. This is that move up. Alright, and that's coming right into this fair value gap here. Look where it stops. It stops pretty much exactly there. So it's good enough. Okay, it's closed the fair value gap. This is the, what do you call it, an order block. Okay, so we've got to wait for a break of structure on the 2 minute. Now, that would be your break of structure. Now, what's interesting here is that price actually comes back and takes you out. Probably would take you out, depending on where you put your stop. Maybe not. If you gave it a couple of pips to breathe, you could have got in. But so that's your, what do you call it? So this becomes the reversal here. Or even if you want to take, let's take this one as the river, because that's more obvious. That's your pivot. We're going to close below the pivot at 606. You can just put your entry however you want to do it. Half the 75% pullback, or if you can take even just the last up close candle, and that would have been a decent trade. So that's trade number 1. Came in window 2. Window 3. So we're still not really seeing anything. So window 2 is that. We had a move in there, but it wasn't helping that much, because there's no clear fair value gap or anything like that there. So that's that. Now window 3, what happens is price comes up here again. We're above midnight open, which is going to be somewhere around here. We are in an OTE now, so we're in a deep premium, but we don't have that what do you call it, break of structure yet on the 5 minute time frame, and it doesn't happen until the next candle. But let's go look at box 3 on all of these. So by box 3, so hopefully you would have taken, no, so by box 3, hopefully you would have entered by box 2. And if you had entered by box 2, your profit target is going to be there, or a close of this fair value gap at the least. Because you don't, if it's going down, then that would be a good place for it to fill and then come down. Okay, box 3. Box 3 may not have taken it. Okay, because like if you were going to take it, this was it here. So basically, we've had the shift of structure on the 5 minute, this shift structure, right, and that leaves this fair value gap behind. As soon as you see this close, wick down, but fail to close down, you could enter there. Kind of difficult, you probably wouldn't get it in real time. And box 3 here is a bit more difficult, so yeah, you don't get the trade on the M5 on box 3 because we don't have the break of structure. Okay, so that's that. Then we said by box 4, it becomes a bit clearer because what's happened? We've gone above midnight open. Although we failed to take out the highs, we've come into a deep premium, and look, we've shifted structure by the time we come down here, or let's just say here, okay, because that was a fair value gap, and it's been clearly disrespected. So 9 o'clock close, you can look for dollar shorts. So that puts us here. So it's not really, I wouldn't take that trade because I wouldn't know where to put my stop on that. Although if you just did enter, it was okay, but I wouldn't take it. So 9 o'clock I think is also here. Yeah, you would have missed out on both of them. You could have possibly, yeah, actually I wouldn't take it because again, I don't know where I'm going to put my stop. I suppose, no, I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm not chasing price, so you would have missed that. So that's Monday. All right, let's move on. So Tuesday. Okay, Tuesday. There was one good trade on Tuesday. So following the dollar index, no liquidity takes high or low. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't get anything by box 4, even box 5. We're just wicking below. So if you look at the, so you're going to follow this on the pound and the yen, on the euro at the same time. Nothing in 1, 2, or 3 stands out here because we're within Asian range high, Asian range low. If we look at the EU, however, what happens is by the time we get to box 3, that's 8 o'clock, we've had an Asian range break high, okay? Now if you want to trade this, like you're going to want the obvious levels are going to be this. Look, Asian range high, you're going to have this ODR POC, you're going to have the Asian POC, and then you've got midnight, which is all the way down here. That's too far, obviously. So at the very least, you'd want to, like ideally, yeah, I put my limit in here at this 35 level and you wouldn't get filled. But here's the thing. So the fact that we've had the close above the range, Asian range, on the EU, okay, and on the GU we haven't, but we've got this deep discount coming in here, and it's coming back to pretty much, look, this is your midnight open. So on the GU, what you have is, although it's not an Asian range break, it's a tap back to midnight. So we get the deep tap back to midnight. Even if you wanted to range this up, like from there or from there, you're in a deep discount by now. So you could enter like at the close of, it's up to you. You could either enter there or wait for the next candle to close. And that was the best trade on Tuesday following that system. Okay, moving on to Wednesday, you'll see similar kind of thing. Box 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, all of them are in between the Asian range high and Asian range low. We don't have a liquidity take here, but when it comes down and makes a double bottom like this on the USDX, it's fair to assume that one of these pairs is actually giving us a liquidity take. So this one isn't. You see, that's actually a high or low, right? But this one is. That's giving us a lower low. That's SMT divergence, and it's perfect. It's happening in our macro. It's taken session liquidity. As soon as we close back inside, like there, you could just enter straight from there. You know, it's less than 10 pips, and you're going to be targeting Asian highs. So it's like a 1.5 to 1. Ends up going 2 to 1, but that's a decent trade. Okay, and so on the euro we didn't have any liquidity take. Price comes up above. So that's your midnight. Your midnight somewhere around here. So it comes up. It takes out like, doesn't take the Asian high, but it takes like semi-session liquidity. Because look, we've got liquidity here, liquidity here. We've got three distinct pivot points, all with liquidity getting taken out in this move up. Okay, so when we come into this on the EU, you're basically going to wait for. You need to wait for a break of structure. So again, it's difficult. You don't really get it on a M5. So let's have a look at what's happening on the dollar index. Dollar index is also not helping us because it's kind of still just in the middle. So let's look at the EU on Wednesday. Okay, so that's EU midnight Wednesday. We didn't get a liquidity take low, then price comes up here. We said we have taken this liquidity. You need a break of structure, so we're on a 2 minute. That's your structure there, and it doesn't break until it's out. Yeah, you're outside of the window, so you'd miss that trade, and there was never any there was never any pullback, unfortunately. This was a good trade here. Actually, yeah, this is a really good trade. So in the next hour, we get a combination of this fair value gap and this liquidity take. So as soon as that rejects there, you could get in to a short. And the next hour after that, again, we've got a fair value gap. Price pretty much comes back. Doesn't close the fair value gap completely, but as soon as it rejects, you could have taken that move down. Okay, now we're moving on to Thursday. So 1, 2, 3, box 3, we get a clean liquidity take of the highs. So from 8.05 or 8.10, I'm looking for dollar shorts on the Thursday. That puts us here. Okay, so what's happened? We've taken session liquidity. So we actually took session liquidity there, but we never really closed back inside. We did have a small close here, but that's outside of our time, so that would have kept us out. But by 8.05, I'm looking to long this. Yeah, again, look, the M5 structure shift doesn't happen until 2 hours later, but I think on the M2 you could have got something in there. So just note this, look, higher low on the pound, right? Let's go look at the EJ. Okay, so EJ, so we got between box 3 and box 4, we had a higher low, and here, we also had a high. So there's no SMT divergence in this. This you could trade as a 50% pullback. So what's happened is we've had the close above Asia. The only problem with this is that what's going to confuse you here is the fact that we had the M5 close below the ODR. Okay, so that's not entirely clear. The trade itself, if you just ignored the ODR bit, is pretty standard, 50% pullback. But I think this is the better of the two trades, just because we had a deeper pullback on that Thursday, right? And that was coming into this, which is so there's an order block here and a fair value gap there. That's a pretty good trade. So what was that? And this was corroborated by this at the same time. So that's a pretty good trade.